Thanks for joining us. We're so pleased you could join us tonight for this webinar on Learn Through Active Play, and it's a sneak peek at Enhancing Your Day with Active Play course that's soon going to be released for early childhood educators. So tonight we have with us Hillary Bartlett and Suzanne Schlechte, my colleague from the Canadian Child Care Federation, and we will be getting into it shortly. I'll just be letting a few more people in because I'm noticing there's a mad rush on joining our webinar. The numbers are climbing, so I'm going to give that a minute. But we are so pleased you could join us and give us part of your evening, because I know it's difficult after a long day of work, but we're pleased you could be here with us today to talk about this really exciting topic and this great resource. This is going to be so thrilling. So, okay, I think we're almost, yeah, a lot of people. Okay, and you can say hi. Feel free to say hi through the chat. Sorry, not the chat, the Q&A. So what you're going to see on the top is the square with a question mark in it. And it says questions, but you can put comments in there as well. And that's a place where you can reach us and we can touch back with you and what your question is. So please feel free to put where you're from or say hello or whatever you'd like to do in there. And we love seeing the thumbs up. So thanks for sending all of those as well. I'm going to go ahead and start our opening presentation, and then I'm going to switch it over to Suzanne, and she's going to fill you in on some of the details, and then we'll be changing screens. So if you just bear with us a little bit, we're going to have one screen, then we're going to have another presentation from Hillary after that. So I'm
Look
just
at
going
all
to
those
open
people joining us, Robin.
Isn't that exciting?
It is.
Yay. Okay, so here we go. Pardon me for the view that you're seeing now. I know there's another fancy way of doing it. We haven't done that yet. Okay, so slideshow. Okay. Can you see that yet? Oh, I haven't made myself presenter, that's why. Oh my goodness, hang on one second. Okay. And show. Sorry about that. I forgot to make myself presenter. Okay. There we go. Okay. Me. Oops. Don't you love technology when it works? Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay. Oh. Why is that letting me do that? Oh, Suzanne's not letting me do that again today.
Well, I can go on without it. And we can send the slides out afterwards because it has the links to things that.
And I'm gonna try and figure it out while you're talking, and we can add it at the end if I can figure. I have to add my secret preference, so I won't keep anybody waiting any longer. I'm gonna turn it over to you and let you go, and then I'm gonna try and figure this out in the back end.
Perfect. Thank you, Robin. I just would like to start us off with a land acknowledgement this evening. As we gather together on this virtual platform, we acknowledge that we are each joining from the ancestral or unceded lands of Inuit, Métis, and First Nations peoples. The Canadian Child Care Federation's office is located on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. We honor their enduring connection to the land, waters, and culture, and we recognize all Indigenous peoples who have lived on and cared for these lands since time immemorial, those who live here now and the 7 generations to come. We recognize the harms and injustices of the past and the ongoing impacts of colonization. We affirm our commitment to truth, reconciliation, and meaningful collaboration with Indigenous communities. As Indigenous peoples have always done, we strive to be responsible stewards of the land and to respect the cultures, ceremonies, and contributions of all who call it home. We invite you now to take a moment of reflection, and if you feel comfortable, to share the name of the Indigenous lands you are joining from in the Q&A. Let us honor the many peoples and places across these lands and consider the tangible steps each of us can take to move forward in a spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration. And as you know, all across Canada. In Alberta, One of our affiliates is the Association of Early Childhood Educators of Alberta. And shout out to all the people from Alberta here tonight. The Association of Early Childhood Educators of Alberta is a nonprofit member-based society that advocates for higher educational standards, wages, system support, and better working conditions for those in the early childhood education landscape. AECEA amplifies the voice of early childhood educators by advocating for higher educational standards, better wages and working conditions, and comprehensive system support. Its mission is to transform Alberta's early learning and childcare workforce into a recognized profession. As a nonprofit society, AECEA is governed by a board of directors elected by its member base with terms lasting for 1 to 3 years. The board provides strategic direction for ACEA and collaborates with staff members and community stakeholders to strengthen and support the early learning and childcare workforce in Alberta. And we will be sending you slides after the webinar that will have links to the AECEA. If you're in Alberta, check them out. And also we want to share with you that we have our family childcare training ebook, and I believe that there will be a slide and a link to that as well. And with that said, I think it's over to you, Hillary.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. I think, Robin, you need to make me a presenter. Yes, perfect. I see it. I'm just making sure
There
this
we
pulls
go.
up.
Perfect.
Okay.
Looks great.
You can see. All right, perfect. I wanted to make sure you could you can see it, you can see me. Thank you so much, Robin. And thank you so much to everyone joining. I see we're still getting some people joining on. It's so great to be with such a big group this evening, or I'm saying this evening. I should start off by saying Suzanne was just talking about Alberta. I'm all the way over in Newfoundland and Labrador, so I'm on the latest time zone. I don't know if there's anyone else joining from Newfoundland and Labrador, but it's a little later here than it is all the way over on the other side of the country. And I'm here this evening to, as Robin mentioned, I'm from the organization Learn Through Active Play, and this evening we're going through a sneak peek on enhancing your day with active play. Suzanne already did a lovely land acknowledgement. Our program, which is a national program, and we have team members from Alberta right to where I am in Newfoundland and Labrador. So we like to do a national land acknowledgement as well. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home. So I'd like to start by welcoming you all and introducing myself. I am an early childhood educator. I worked as an ECE for years before starting to work on ECE workforce advocacy. For a few years, I was the project manager of a provincial here in my province, ECE not-for-profit organization, the Early Childhood Educators Human Resources Council, whom I still do some work for. And now I'm an ECE consultant and the post-secondary lead with the organization Learn Through Active Play. And I'd like to start, I know there's a large group of us, I know everyone's joining at different points in their day, and you might be trying to get a snack, something to eat, moving around. You might be sitting, you might be joining us on your phone. But because we're here to talk about active play and movement, I wanted to bring some energy and focus into our bodies and our brains with just 1 minute of movement. So I really encourage you all. It's just, I'm going to imagine that everyone is going to join in with me doing this evening. And maybe if you're joining in, you can do some more thumbs ups or hearts. It's so nice to see that people are engaging. But what we're going to do is we're going to do what I'm going to call a reach and release breath. So what we're going to do is, as you inhale, reach both arms overhead and stretch up all the way, stretch up tall. And then as you exhale, release your arms down slowly and shake your hands gently. And we're going to repeat this 3 more times together. So inhale, reach up, stretch tall, and exhale, release your arms down, shake your hands out. Breathe in, reach up. Bring your hands down. One more time together, expanding, stretching, and then exhale. Release your arms down slowly, shake your hands out gently. So I'm going to imagine that all 392 of you have joined me in that. How do you feel now compared to before the reach and release exercise? I know I was feeling some jitters due to the size of the group that I'm facilitating to, and this movement has helped me feel more calm and more prepared. So what I invite you to do is over the next 50 minutes or so is make a commitment to do this reach and release active movement habit. If you begin to feel unfocused, if you start thinking about what you were doing before the webinar or what you have to do as soon as we're done, take a moment and move through this small reach and release breathing movement exercise again. So, you know, everyone else, you can all see me, but I can't see you. So you have the leisure of doing it whenever you feel like it. And I'm just know that I'm enjoying that you're taking that time for yourself to regulate and bring yourself focused in on the content. So what is Learn Through Active Play? The organization Active for Life is a not-for-profit organization that launched in 2012 to help parents develop children's physical literacy. Learn Through Active Play is an initiative of the organization Active for Life. So between 2019 and 2021, Active for Life led a controlled proof of concept study in 39 childcare centers. And the results of that study confirm what they already knew, the benefits of active play in early learning environments for children. But it led them to understand the impact, the positive impact that the infusion of active play had on the early childhood educators and childcare professionals in these spaces. So, wait now. Oh, there we go. Sorry. So we, the Learn Through Active Play proof of concept study led to our program being created. So you get free, it's a free accessible program for early childhood educators and childcare professionals. So when I say free, not just the webinar this evening, if you choose to bring Learn Through Active Play either to your center, to your early learning environment, we also deliver to post-secondary institutions. It's free. Our core workshop is free. All of our ongoing support options that I'm going to discuss are free. So just keep that in mind. It's not just this evening's webinar. It's research-based. So I mentioned we had a proof of concept study, and it begins, our core workshop begins with a hands-on high energy workshop that focuses on practical strategies that we feel that educators can go out and use the very next day. Then we continue to support who we call our LTAP, so Learn Through Active Play, our LTAP alumni, through our ongoing support options, which I'm going to get into in much more detail later. So something that's really important before we move forward is making sure that we're all on the same page when I use the expression active play. And I like to read it out basically verbatim. It's physical activity, so all movement, all, not just gross motor, not just running around, not just outdoor, even though all those are important. It's all physical activity that happens through fun and playful experiences, often guided by children's interests, so that emergent curriculum that we always talk about. It's early childhood educators help the active play by setting up engaging environments, indoor, outdoor, planning playful activities, and encouraging children to move and be creative. So together, child-led play and educator support help children build physical skills, creativity, help them become self-regulated, and wire in a love of movement that can be lifelong. So active play includes all forms of movement, and it's up us as ECEs and childcare professionals to match the movement, to match what we're bringing to the table to the needs of the children. So it's up to us to make those observations. When educators use active play moments to respond to children's needs, it creates ongoing opportunities for relationship building. It ensures everyone feels included, and more movement for children naturally creates more movement for us as educators, which boosts energy, eases routines, and improves the flow of the day. So the Learn Through Active Play program likes to look at everything through an active play lens. The active play lens is a way of viewing your whole day, your whole routine, all your planning, and it's a way of seeing how movement would benefit you, your colleagues. Not all of us work with colleagues, but in a lot of early learning environments, we work often with one or two other ECEs or educators. So how it would benefit you, your colleagues, and the children in your space. And we'll get into habit creation in a moment, but it's about building small, intentional, active play habits. And once you start building these habits and making them consistent over time, you begin to see things through this active play lens automatically. So our program is not about telling you what to do. It's not about overhauling everything you already know. It's about taking everything you know from your work with children and infusing it with this active play lens so that you can enhance your day by matching movement to the needs of the children. So we believe that planning through an active play lens positively impacts your day, your routine, your program planning, the transitions. And as we know, our day is basically just one transition after another, and children's self-regulation skills. So in terms of what kind of habits, we're going to get into more detail, but we just developed one, our reach and release exercise. So I encourage you to look at that as a very small, consistent habit that you can use throughout the course of this webinar to keep you focused and engaged, to just breathe in and breathe out. And it'll help you stay focused and engaged on what we're doing I'm going to say this evening. I know we're in different time zones. So we wanted our program to be accessible and easy to understand for every member of the early learning and childcare sector. And what we did is we distilled our content down into 2 guiding principles. So we believe you integrate your active play lens by applying these 2 guiding principles to your day. Our first one is creating active play habits. And our second one is active play enhances everyone's day. Very straightforward. So our first guiding principle, creating active play habits, is our foundational principle that sort of sets the stage for all the other strategies and tools that we discuss. We divide each of our guiding principles into empowerment objectives, and these empowerment objectives just allow us to see a breakdown of what each guiding principle helps to teach us. Creating active play habits leads with the habit creation, foundational sort of building block of everything we do. We want to make sure active play is inclusive for all, and that language for all, for children, for colleagues, for everyone in our space. Setting up environments indoors and outdoors to invite that active play. So we want children to step into spaces and see materials that we've taken out, and encourages them based on their interests to engage in active play. And lastly, facilitating intentional active play opportunities that are developmentally appropriate. And I know that language, developmentally appropriate, some people use that, some people don't, but the idea is looking at children and meeting them where they are, and how important that is so that we can make our day better, everyone's day better. So developing new active play habits. I already mentioned an active play habit is a small, doable habit that involves movement. We've based all of our work in the development of the idea of active play habits on B.J. Fogg's work, a behavior scientist from Stanford University, who believes that well, he had research that demonstrated that 43% of our day is guided by habits. And I don't mean just in our early learning environments, I mean our whole day. And in order to make changes that are going to last, they need to be small, consistent, and something that you're going to want to do over and over again. So when it comes to active play habits in early learning environments, it's about matching the energy needed by the children, not necessarily the energy exhibited by the children. So sometimes we have a group that's very high energy and we need to help them self-regulate. Sometimes we have children that are very, that might be playing outdoors and can be playing in a calmer way, but we know they need that energy release and we need to do something to help them engage in something that will release that energy. So it's about observing what the children need and matching it. And when we do this, we can make our day smoother and more predictable. Gradual shifts on our part, so creating these active play habits, help us integrate active play effortlessly, fostering consistency, confidence, and a more enjoyable learning environment. So you walk away from this guiding principle with a deeper understanding of how the active play lens, habit creation positively impacts programming to support both you as the educator and children alike. So we're going to have another look at this this PDF is what I'm going to call it, but it's the basis, it's our foundational tool that educators can walk away from our program with, and you're getting it here this evening. And we're going to be using it to brainstorm some active play habits shortly. So this is something that I encourage when we deliver the full workshop and the ongoing support. I encourage, depending on your early learning environment, to print some of these out and keep them in a binder. Some early learning environments now have tablets, have them in your tablets, and it's a way to look at breaking down the idea of creating a habit and then keeping it consistently and using it and feeling confident about using it.
Hillary, just for a
Yes.
second, is everyone seeing the slides change, or is everyone still seeing the first slide now? So thumbs up if you are seeing the slides moving.
I think
Okay.
I'm seeing mostly thumbs up.
Yes. Yes.
But there are a few thumbs down.
I'm seeing the slides moving. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're moving for me as well, but I did notice there are some people that are not seeing the slides switch.
If that continues to be a problem for individuals, what you might want to try is logging out and logging back in again.
Okay.
That might reconnect you somehow. But not to worry too that we also have the if you can still hear, that's great too, because as we mentioned before, the presentation will be available on a replay view on our YouTube channel. It'll also be sent as a link to you after the webinar is over too. So sorry Hillary, go ahead.
No, I'm glad you brought that to my attention. I'm just glad that it's good to know the majority of people are able to see the slides. By all means, as was suggested, just log in and log out and log back into the webinar, and that might help. I'm not sure what else to suggest. But I will just, I'm going to keep going and see how we do. And as Robin mentioned, there's a few ways to sort that out. And as she mentioned, you'll have access to the full delivery after the fact. And I can certainly get the slide deck out to everyone as well. So Robin, I'll use you to help me do that, but yeah. I can certainly do that so that anyone that's not seeing it up on the screen, by all means, you'll have access to it.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe don't. So if we can have access to it, and if you can't log in, log back in, just stay tuned and listen. And I know it's a bit challenging if you only have the one slide, but certainly you will have access to the slides after. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Robin. And thank you those of you who were alerting us to that issue. So our second guiding principle is active play enhances everyone's day. And this is where we get deeper into tools and strategy building, and we focus on the idea of using active play to facilitate daily transitions. As I mentioned, our day is full of transitions, and we encourage looking at transitions as a continued learning opportunity and using movement, using active play to keep those transitions smoother. I know that transitions can be very chaotic, and sometimes we can think to ourselves, really, I'm going to add to this, but being proactive and proactively planning movement into your transition can actually be what facilitates having a calmer, more regulated transition. Developing stronger relationships through active play. This is with your colleagues and the children. We really feel that having strong relationships with your colleagues when you're working in an environment with colleagues is an important part of enhancing your day, because everyone's day feels better. The emotional climate in the room is better for everybody. So developing stronger relationships with children and your colleagues. And lastly, facilitating learning through active play experiences without disrupting play. So it's entering the play to support in a way that you've observed as necessary, and exiting without disrupting the learning and the play that was going on. So how does this enhance everyone's day? Planning early learning programming through an active play lens enhances the day for both children and educators by fostering engagement, inclusion, and a calm environment. Active play supports self-regulation skills, helping children manage emotions, behaviors, reducing disruptions, and creating a more enjoyable, stress-free, which is very important, atmosphere for educators to facilitate learning. I like to use the expression, it's better to prevent a fire than put out a fire. The more proactive we can be, the less reactive we have to be. And it's always better, I make the joke that it's always better to walk away at the end of the day not feeling like you need to pull your hair out at the end of the day. And even though some of the strategies and tools that we discuss in this active habit creation, it is something that you have to take some time to plan and make observations of what's going on in your space, so that you are matching what children need. But being proactive long term is much calmer and more regulated for you and the children than it is to be reactive all the time. So how do we enhance everyone's day? The goal is to create small, consistent changes rather than overhaul everything that we do. And there's different types of habits. There's different kinds of habits that we can create. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is playful transitions. So I mentioned transitions can be very chaotic, especially, depending on the energy level of the children, depending on what's going on that day. I also like to say depending on the season, because it's the transition from going indoors to outdoors is much more chaotic in the winter when you have to have boots and coats and hats and mitts compared to a transition in the summer months. So this habit is consistently used at the same part of the routine every day. So during that transition every day. So we're going to go back to our Easy Habits PDF. And the first step is you pick a small, doable active play habit and name it. We just say to name it just because that helps with recall. You select a time and place that your chosen active play habit fits into your program. And 3, when you complete, you celebrate. So if anyone can't see the slides, I'm going to be going through those 3 steps over and over again, and you can just jot them down to follow along. So for example, I just mentioned that one of the transitions that's very difficult is getting outside from inside when it's the winter time and you're having to put on all these extra clothes. A high energy active play habit that you could create to match the children's energy and help them focus in on what they're doing could be, and it's something that I've used before, is the song Head and Shoulders, Knees and Toes, except I would change it to, I think I would say hat and mitts and boots and gloves, or whatever way you want to reword that to talk about what the children are wearing. So what is the new easy active play habit? That's the first step. It's going to be the song Head and Shoulders, Knees and Toes, the song and actions. When will it fit into your program? That's step 2, while getting dressed to go outside to play. And 3 is how will you celebrate your new easy active play habit? I used to like to say that we would sing the song extra loud right before we went outside, or shout hooray once we get outside. I want to get into a couple of details here. It sounds like I'm trying to add more chaos to chaos because you're trying to get everybody ready. How I did this with, and I use this active play habit with toddlers and with preschoolers. Toddlers obviously need a little more support in getting dressed than the preschoolers. But I did this in a room where I was team teaching with another ECE, and we made the agreement that I was going to be the one that used my voice to sing the song. And then my colleague was going to be the one that sort of helped, I'm going to use the expression, contain the children in the getting ready area. So any of those ones that are wandering back to the play space. And we talked to the children before we started. So we picked a song that they already knew. We let them know, okay, today we're going to do this really fun thing where we're going to sing head and shoulders, knees and toes. We're going to sing it about our outdoor clothes. And the piece that made it so that it helped the children stay focused was we let them know you can sing along while you're getting your clothes on, but you have to wait until you're fully dressed before you can start doing the actions, because that's when you start pointing at the hat and gloves and coat and boots. And while this definitely took we had to still support children. I was singing the song while children were singing with me. I was still helping children with mittens and getting boots on. My colleague was the one that was sort of wrangling children back to their spaces if they were sort of wandering off. But once we started using this consistently, children started getting really excited to do it. They wanted to participate in the actions, and the group that we were with, this really, it matched their energy. It was the high energy version of this habit was something that really worked for this particular group of children. And I would sing it in all kinds of different voices. I would sing it in a quiet mouse voice. I would sing it in a deep elephant voice, and I would sing it all these funny different ways to keep them engaged and keeping them wanting to participate. And I would sing it, I don't know, 6 or 10 times before we were ready. And then often what we would do is we would sing it the very loudest right before we went outside as a way to celebrate. A key point about the celebration is that the BJ Fogg, who I mentioned as a behavior scientist that we based our work on habit creation on, he said that you need to celebrate the habit in order to hardwire it into your brain, because celebrating floods your brain with endorphins and it makes you feel good and positive about what you did. Us at Learn Through Active Play, we like to look at it that the celebration can be dual fold. It could be that the children are just celebrating, hooray, we get to get outside. And my colleague and I would be looking at each other going, hooray, this was a high energy, but more regulated way to get everybody outside. So I really like to emphasize that we do so much as ECEs. We have to fit so much in our day. Our attention it needs to be in like 16 different places at once. And taking a tiny moment to celebrate small wins is not only good for habit creation, it's sort of good for the soul. It's good for us to think to ourselves and go, wow, like that really went well. So I like to pair that example with the fact that you might have a group where you're like, wow, that would never work. It would just turn into chaos. My group is too high energy. They would start running around. So in terms of what habits you create, it's really up to your knowledge of your group, of the individual children, and not just the children. It's also like how the children are that day. There were definitely days with my group where I had to pick a different calmer song. I will point out, we definitely didn't pick any songs that had them running around in circles. It was always like stationary action songs where they were standing in one place. But another, like just to sort of give you the other side of this, is a calm energy version would be you collect all the children together. And if you have enough space in your getting ready space, so next to your cubbies, you could do it there. You might have to do it in another section of your room if you don't have quite enough room there. But you could do some calm yoga. I did yoga so much with all ages of children, and I would do like truck yoga or bug yoga or whatever the emerging interests were. And I would often pair it with pictures, like picture profiles of like 6 different insects or 6 different trucks, whatever the interests were, and hold them up. If you haven't done yoga with children before, let me give you a tip. Make sure to use the expression that it's like the freeze part of a freeze dance. Because when I first started doing yoga with children, I was constantly saying, no, the yoga pose, you just stand still. And that language didn't land. But letting them know it was the freeze part. Children are, well, in a lot of the early learning environments I've been in, children are very interested in all those different freeze dances now. And that really landed. So they would freeze in the pose once they got into it. So you could do, 2 or 3 yoga poses before moving to the cubbies to get ready to go outside, or at the cubbies, whichever lined up. And then maybe you chant an Om calmly, quietly, as a way to celebrate once everybody was ready. So maybe you need that sort of calm energy habit in terms of a transition option. So in both of these options, it's up to you as the ECE, as the childcare professional in the space, to recognize the needs of the children. Yep. Yes, Robin?
Oh, I'm good.
Oh, okay, sorry. I think I'm getting, oh no, it's gone now. Sorry, I thought you needed me. So in either of those cases, it's up to you as the EC, as a childcare professional, to recognize what your group needs, and it's what your group needs that day. And before I move on to any of the other habits, something to keep in mind, I regularly say there's no such thing as a failed habit or a failed activity. You need to look at it as, okay, that didn't work. What do I need to do differently? So it might be that the high energy, like you try the high energy version and you just dive right into it. You didn't let the children know in advance what was going on, and it just sort of fell flat and things got busier instead of calmer. Then you need to go, okay, what can I do differently? Oh, okay, I'm going to let the children know in advance. I'm going to let them know what song we're going to sing. I'm going to make sure it's a song everybody knows. Or maybe it's that, I always say, if you're going to try something, make sure your colleague knows and your colleague is on board, because something can fall flat that way if your colleague isn't sort of prepared to support the habit. Because if I didn't have my colleague that was helping support the children stay in the space while they were getting ready, what I was doing, I would have been running around in circles, and my colleague would have been like, why are you doing this to us? Why are you doing a song while we're getting ready? But because we had that conversation beforehand, it worked really, really well. And the more consistent we were with it, as I mentioned, the children started to look forward to it as part of the regular routine, the regular transition of the day. So active play habit 2, matching energy. So I did mention that with the transition, it's important to match what you're choosing as your habit to the room, to the group of children. But also, as educators, we're constantly observing the children in our early learning environment. So observing children's energy is important, because then you can respond with what is needed. If the group is really buzzing and really active, you could add a quick movement burst to let out some energy. If things feel restless, try a calming stretch. So with practice, this can become a natural way to regulate flow and keep the day balanced. It can be used for the group or for individual children. So this habit is used when you notice the group needs support with regulating their energy levels. So I'm bringing back up the easy habits, 1, 2, 3. So pick a small, doable active play habit and give it a name. If you look at your group and the whole group is very unfocused and they're no longer using the materials appropriately, we've all seen our group sort of devolve into chaos where blocks are being thrown, or materials are just not being used appropriately. So I encourage you to create a habit that you use when you see this, where you can start a group song in action. So one idea would be shake your sillies out. I don't know if everyone knows that song. It's a very simple song and you could sing it. If you're not someone that wants to sing it, you could have it queued up on whatever device you're playing music on in your room. So what would your new easy active play habit be? It could be shake your sillies out. When will it fit into your routine? When children are unfocused or not using play materials appropriately. And how will you celebrate? You can wiggle. So the last line of that song, if you're not familiar, is wiggle your waggles away. So it could be that you shake your sillies out, sing the song as a group, and it doesn't need to be that you formally do anything. It could be that you move your body to a space that has the most, to an area in the room that has the most space to make it safe for shaking your sillies out. And you just start doing it. As I'm sure you've all experienced, children love to join in. So start singing Shake Your Sillies Out. Children start to join in. Everyone gets a bit of movement out. And then when you get to the last time that you want to sing it, maybe you sing it 2 or 3 times, you can wiggle your waggles away to return to the play area you want to choose. So you can let children know, okay, wiggle your waggles away, and which area are you going to play in? And they can wiggle and waggle to, the dramatic play area, to the art table, wherever they're going to move next. So that would be if you saw the whole group unfocused, but you could easily use this same habit if there was an individual child that you see that is really needing some support with self-regulating. You can invite that child. You can go over. If you see that child engaging with materials inappropriately, throwing sand out of the sand table, whatever it is they're doing, you could invite that child. You know what I think you need to shake your sillies out. And it doesn't mean that the other children can't join in, but you can use it as a habit to support helping that child regulate. Again, another really great thing about using habits consistently is that children can come to expect that. So instead of a child feeling, there's lots of reasons why children might be throwing sand out of the sandbox or out of the sand table. And instead of being worried that they're going to get in trouble, I'm going to use that expression, or worried that they're, that something negative is going to happen. It could be that, they're doing it to show that they're feeling upset, that they're dysregulated, whatever the reason is. Knowing that that's going to be met with something positive. You know what? I think you need to shake your sillies out because, right now sand belongs in the sand table, and I think let's go shake our sillies out, and then we can see if you're ready to play in the sand. So it's not about letting the child continue doing something they shouldn't do. It's about positively engaging with them and using this active play habit to support them moving away from what they're doing so that they can self-regulate and sort of down-regulate back to a calmer space. So our third active play habit, connection through play. So this is all about building the habit of joining children in their play. So even for 1 or 2 minutes, a chase, a dance, copying their movements can build powerful connections. It reminds children that you're with them, not just guiding them, not just there as sort of the adult in the room. And this also works for building relationships with your colleagues. So take time as a team to join in the children's play. Educators give their all every day. We're so busy. We have, our attention, I said already, our attention's being pulled in so many different directions. It's active, it's busy. It takes a lot of heart. Having strong relationships with colleagues helps keep that energy sustainable and joyful. And having those strong relationships with children helps support when you're in those moments, like the example I just gave with the child at the sand table. If you have a positive relationship with that child, they're much more likely to let their sort of whatever they're in dysregulation about, they're much more likely to step away with you and shake their sillies out if they have a positive relationship with you. So this habit can be embedded into the routine. So it can be that you you have it so that it could be that during one of the other habits we talked about, during your shake your sillies out, you're shaking your sillies out too. It could be when you're doing any song and actions, you're doing the songs and actions alongside the children. It can also be used, I'm going to use the expression, as and when you observe that it's needed. So what I mean by that is, if you're going to embed it into the routine, one example would be that if you're transitioning, so it's another transition example, but if you're transitioning all the children who are all independently free play during free play, you might want to bring them all together for your circle time or your large group. I know it's called different things in different jurisdictions. And what you could do is you could do an everybody conga line. And if you're not familiar with the conga line, it's basically just everyone lining up and snaking around and sort of dancing as you move around. So it could be that when it's time to transition into your circle time, large group, whatever you're going to transition into, after everyone's been given the opportunity to tidy up, you can do everybody conga line. So pick a small doable active play habit and give it a name, everybody conga line. When will it fit into your routine and program? On the way to sitting for your circle time, your large group. How will you celebrate your new easy active play habit? So once you're seated, you can high five the person on your right and your left, or whatever way you want to celebrate that. And the children are all celebrating that we did something fun and they're arriving into the next part of their routine. And again, as educators, we can be celebrating, wow, that transition went really smoothly and we were all engaged as a group. And this same habit could be used as an as and when. So if you notice that the entire group is dysregulated, unfocused, we talked about some other examples when that happens as well. But you could do, what would your new easy active play habit be? Everybody conga line. When will it fit into your routine? When your group is really dysregulated and unfocused. And then what you could do in this instance is, once the conga line is over, so once you've sort of snaked around the room a few times, high five the person in front and behind you before choosing somewhere to go back to play. So you're sort of letting children get out some of that energy, help their bodies become more regulated again, and you joined in alongside them. So it's a way that you can join in alongside your colleagues. Everybody's joined in, and that can create great moments for relationship building with colleagues and with the children. So what are some practical strategies for building habits? I'll remind you, it's small intentional shifts. It's choosing the type of habit. So we went over 3 different kinds of habits. Is it a routine-based habit? Is it as and when habit? Model joy when you're participating. Your enthusiasm encourages child participation. Also, really important, include children's ideas. Let them suggest habits. If you see that there's a child that really likes frogs, and something that has really helped them, they're really not a fan of having to go to the bathroom. It might be that you suggest for them, or you say to them, well, how do you want to get to the bathroom? They want to hop like a frog. Let that be a habit. Let that be every time this child has to go to the bathroom, they can hop like a frog to the bathroom if your space is safe to do so. I'm just using that as an example. So let children suggest habits and then embed them in your routine, or let them lead a habit. So your conga line, maybe you have a child leading that conga line. You know, there's lots of different ways to look at that. And how do you create lasting habits that work? Know your children, really important piece. Observe through the day. So know your children. You're going to know your children all the time, but observe through the day, because children can be different day to day. Adjust your environment, indoors and outdoors, your routine and play choices where necessary. Be proactive, not reactive. So the last thing that we're going to do before I am going to go into a few more details about our program, but I wanted to have an active play moment, because even over a screen, even though I can't see you, you can just see me sort of moving around and acting a bit silly. We can feel connection. So I wanted to try something together. Even though I can't see I can't see that you're doing it. I'm going to envision that you're all doing it. The numbers have creeped up a bit. So all 426 of you are all going to do this with me, but I'm going to do something where I'm just going to get you to mirror my movements. So we're going to start with the active play habit, the reach and release. We're going to start with that one. So reach your arms up and exhale. Wiggle your hands back down. Wiggle your fingers this way. Wiggle your fingers this way. Wave your arms in the air. Do a few soft claps. Stretch your arms out wide. And we're going to finish with one more inhale and exhale. So, did you notice a little bit of a feeling of connection, even if you were just picturing doing the movements in your mind? Maybe you're too busy making your supper or getting a snack or taking care of a dog, whatever you're doing in this moment. But there's a sense of connection when we feel like we're doing movement at the same time. Children experience connection when we share these playful moments together. And similarly, colleagues can feel more aligned when we are in tune with one another in a space. So I just want you to take a moment and just a self-reflection. What is a part of your day or your routine that could be enhanced with the addition of an active play habit? And what I mean by enhanced is you have a more calmer, more focused, more regulated group. So if you were to go back to your early learning environment tomorrow, what's one part of your day? Because it's all about small habit creation and becoming consistent. And once you create that habit, making the observation so that you can tweak the habit, because there's no such thing as a failed habit. It's all about making adjustments to make it work for your space, your children at the time, and in the context that you're choosing to have it. So our program, Learn Through Active Play, just a few stats for you, has been very well received by educators and directors. We have high satisfaction rate across all of our core measures. So 92% would recommend the workshop, 90% find it useful and applicable, and 88% of respondents actively implement their Learn Through Active Play strategies in their daily work with their children. We are very proud of the results we've received to date. We are continuously asking participants to share their feedback so we can continue to improve Learn Through Active Play. This is very important to our team because it reflects our goals. We want early childhood educators and childcare professionals to see the value that intentional active play habits can bring, and confirmation our approach respects the knowledge that you all already have and build on it. If you participate in our program, what is included? The first step is our core workshop delivery. You get a 4-hour professional development certificate. We offer it in person and virtual, depending on where you are. We do a baseline survey to determine educators' needs, and then we do a post-workshop survey to ensure our program aligns with your expectations. So how you feel about our program is very important to us. Once you have become an LTAP, Learn Through Active Play alumni, you get permanent access to our ongoing support options. We provide personalized toolkits. We provide consistently updated resources and materials on our website. We have community spaces. For example, one of our community spaces is called the Active Play Exchange, and it's a monthly webinar where we spend about 40 minutes where one of our team members does a deeper dive into one of our topics. One of the most recent ones I did was on using active play as a behavior guidance strategy, and then about 20 minutes for questions and discussion. And we offer a PD certificate for attending that as well. And lastly, we offer mentoring sessions. So if your center participates in our program, you can book us for a staff meeting to go do a deeper dive into something. You can book us per room, like maybe your preschool staff want a little bit more information on one thing, and maybe your toddler staff want a little bit more information on something different. But this is something that's very, our ongoing support options is something that's very unique to our program, and we offer it completely free, the same as the 4-hour core workshop. So when we talk about active play, it's important to remember it's not just one single activity or a scheduled block of outdoor time. Active play is a modality. It's applied through the whole day. It's woven into routines, transitions, and into relationship building with children and colleagues. So these are our social media if you want to connect with us. And I am going to send the slide deck to Robin to send out. So I'm going to quickly go past this one. And I wanted to finish off with an additional little active play moment, because I've been talking about shaking your sillies out. So I wanted everyone to bring out their inner child and have one last little wiggle and shake your sillies out. And it can be our collective celebration that we finished a professional learning session together, and we're making a commitment to ourselves to enhance our day using active play. For more information or questions, here's my contact information. I would really, 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 really appreciate if you took our post-workshop survey. That's the QR code on the left. I'm also going to send the link in the Q&A. And if you wanted to meet with our LTAP team to discuss bringing our program for free to your center, the QR code is there on the right. My email address is there. Our website address is there. And I'm very open to you emailing me directly if you had any questions. So I am going to try, I'm not sure if, I'm going to try to look through the Q&A if anyone had anything specific that they wanted to share. But I am very open to any questions or anything anyone wanted to ask. I'm just trying to scroll through here now because there's a lot of people saying hello. I'm going to send out the link. I forgot that I said that I would do that. So just one second. So that's the link there. So the link is in the Q&A if everyone wanted to take a look there. So there was one question: how does the Learn Through Active Play workshop work for a day home educator like me? Please email me, because we are looking, we really want to support and respect family home child care providers. So email me directly, the email address you see there, and I can talk with you, because I'm not sure where you're located and all that kind of information. So you email me and I can absolutely help support you accessing our program. So there's someone that says couldn't get QR code and contact details. Oh, if you're someone that couldn't see the slide deck, the slide deck is going to be sent out to all participants. Someone else, will you guys send slides? I don't have access. Yes, we're going to send the slides out. Is this available across Canada, Ontario, the workshop? Yes, it's available across Canada. We've already delivered in Ontario, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland and Labrador, Alberta, BC. I've done some post-secondary in Manitoba. So we are right across the country. And if you're looking to book, like I said, if you're an individual ECE, we can get you lined up and to be able to complete it, because we do have open PD opportunities, but we're more than happy to organize for your full center. So you can also, you know what, you can actually email me and I can send you information to provide to your program administrator, director, So there's someone else that said the stats seem to suggest that training, education, and certification to become an early childhood educator is lacking in play training or active play training. It's nice to see LTAP exists to address this gap that seems to be across the board for childcare professionals. I think there's a lot. There's a lot in post-secondary ECE programs. So we're all about taking what's learned and just infusing it with this different lens. So we really lean into ECEs and childcare professionals, what they know, and just provide them with supporting information and habit creation foundational strategies. There's no cost. Someone asked, is there any cost? There's no cost for anything. So someone asked if there's costs for the initial start of the program and the workshop. There is no cost whatsoever. Someone asked, where do we enroll for workshops? We do have open professional development opportunities where as an individual ECE you can sign up. I would suggest that you use the QR code on the screen right now to meet with someone or email me directly. So either of those options, you can book right into someone's calendar through the QR code or email me directly. And we can certainly get you lined up. There's someone that asked, where can we get the link for the certificate? I think that's a question for either Robin or Suzanne for this evening. There's someone that said, could you please send me the link? I'm not sure. So that was someone named Marissa. I'm not sure what link you're looking for, Marissa.
Hi, Hillary. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And to answer the question about the certificates will be sent out in the next 24 to 48 hours. And I would really strongly like to encourage everybody to add customer care at gotowebinar.com to their email contacts. And what that is going to do is it's going to help ensure that your certificate comes to your inbox. It doesn't end up in your spam, it doesn't end up in your trash or junk, and it gets where it needs to go. And yeah, so they'll be sent out from the GoToWebinar platform within 2 days. So give us that time before you come knocking on my door asking where your certificate is. And I think if there are no more questions, I think that we can thank everyone for joining us tonight, and thank you, Hillary. You've taught us so much, and we really appreciate and look forward to checking out the resources and going through everything on my own time. And if that's everything, I think we will say good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you all so much for participating this evening, and hopefully I'll hear from all 400 of you soon.